Silence your cell phones. What's up to our sidekicks and henchfolk out there in the Gilded Geek Nation? Welcome to the High Republic era edition of the CultPop podcast, episode 79, a show where we talk about movies and TV and comics and Jedi shenanigans and all the other things that scratch your nerdy, dirty little itches. We're coming to you live from Young Junk HQ. So close. A bomb-ass podcast production space in Philadelphia, PA. I'm your Bantha Poodoo of a host, JD of Johnny Destructo's Hero Complex, located at 4327 Main Street, Philadelphia, PA 19127. It's a comic shop. Come buy my shit. With me tonight to talk is Alice.
Hi, I'm Alice. I was Brian last week, and I did the Young Junk thing. And it was,
you did that?
It was very stressful.
Yeah, right? It is. Nobody knows that.
It was hard to nail
all
it
the people that I tell before.
Yeah. He's sweating bullets. And Brian.
Hey, JD, what's a Bantha Poodoo?
Bantha is a creature from Star Wars, and Poodoo is shit.
Oh, no. That's 2 words for shit.
Poodoo is.
That's bad.
Yeah.
Mm.
Also in the booth is our trusty producer, Dylan the Great. Remember, if anything goes wrong, Dylan did it.
Hello.
Hi, Dylan.
And Dylan is also responsible for the good things.
He's
too,
also,
right?
he's mostly responsible for the
Good,
good.
bad, average, ugly, beautiful, all me, baby.
That's cool. That's a cool thing.
Before we jump into the show, we'd like to thank you for joining us live. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe, hit the little bell notification, and get in the chat.
Yeah,
man.
get over there.
Yeah. We love a little back and forth, so also email us at cultpopgo@gmail.com if that's your thing. Okay. Now comes the part of the show where I ask my friends, what have you been up to this week? And I'm going to start with Alice.
That's me.
Alice, what have you been up to this week?
This week, specifically today, I read...
The last several hours.
Literally, like 2 hours before this. I read Murder Falcon.
Yeah, you did.
By Daniel Warren Johnson.
Oh, nice.
And it was incredible.
The world is under attack by monsters, and Jake's life is falling apart.
Right now?
No band, no girl, no future, until he meets Murder Falcon. He was sent from the heavy to destroy all evil, but he can't do it without Jake shredding up a storm. Now with every chord Jake plays on his guitar, the power of metal fuels Murder Falcon into all-out kung fu fury on those that seek to conquer Earth. It's time to shred.
It was so much fun.
So the thing that I tell people about Daniel Warren Johnson,
I know what you're going to say,
is that he writes just the dumbest sounding crap, but then also to make you cry.
It is really good. Yeah.
Yeah. I had read Do a Power Bomb previously and had so much fun with that as somebody who watched wrestling as a kid. And then it also just like ruined me emotionally in a good way.
Yeah.
And then same thing with Murder Falcon. I texted the group chat for the podcast like literally half an hour before I was about to leave. I was like, okay, I'm crying.
Yeah.
I just finished it. I gotta get it together. But it was beautiful. It was wonderful. It was so much fun. It's just such a good comic.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
The art is great. The dialogue is fun. The references to metal. Oh, it was so much fun.
So
and other music too.
In the trade paperback, is there a mixtape that you can listen to?
What?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think in the one, I think he put it on Spotify. If you
gosh.
go and go to Spotify or Tidal or whatever and type in Murder Falcon, there should be a playlist that Daniel Warren Johnson made for you to listen to whilst you I'm
gonna
read it.
Is this your symbol for reading?
This is reading.
Shredding. Yeah.
Oh, for this specifically.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was just so good.
Yeah. I love that book.
Can't think of one thing I didn't like about it. It was so good.
Oh, that's good.
I know.
There's I think later on he has utilized a very particular style of like very heavy lines with the line work kind of going perpendicular to the action. Does he do that yet in Murder Falcon?
Yeah.
He does. Okay.
Yeah.
For some reason I thought that he didn't, but it's amazing. I really like that style.
It's so much fun.
Yeah,
very
such a dynamic.
Yeah.
This was before Do a Powerbomb, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Because I had read Do a Powerbomb first. And I think there's a little reference to one of the characters from Murder Falcon in Do a Powerbomb. He's like in the background somewhere.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, I noticed him before. Yeah.
Jake,
the main character in Murder Falcon.
Murder Falcon.
And Murder Falcon's there
I think he's in the
too.
cover of one of the.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's hard to miss.
Yeah.
Literally
Yeah.
a giant Murder Falcon with a metal arm.
And a bandana.
A cool bandana that blows in the wind. Oh,
He's an actual
God.
falcon, like a bird?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's a giant.
He's a
anthropomorphic.
Did he have legs?
Yeah.
Very little legs, but
Yeah.
a big torso and big arms.
Like
Very-
bird legs, though, not human legs.
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe.
Like,
I
is
don't
he
know.
all bird or part person?
Well, he has
That's what I'm
arms,
trying
not
to-
wings. His wings are like
Wings
metal
are
wings.
a really big part of
He has
being a
metal
Falcon.
wings that are kind of part of his. He has like a
Okay.
metal arm, and then
Uh-huh.
like just a regular huge jacked arm,
Okay, and then
Let's-
2 metal wings.
and then like metal wings. But
Okay.
the metal wings come later, so I don't know if he always has them.
Oh, so he just calls himself that.
He has a beak.
Oh, look at that guy.
Is some of the prerequisites of
I
being
mean,
a
he's
bird.
wearing Chucks, so I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah, you
what
don't.
his-
Falcon.
what his feet are like.
Oh, I thought you just meant because Falcons wear that. kind of
Chucks.
shoe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
classic
Wearing-
Falcon
yeah.
footwear. Yeah.
But
That's
yeah,
the original tagline.
I absolutely love that book. I kind of want to reread it because I haven't read it in a
Do
while.
it.
But if you like Daniel Warren Johnson, which you will if you read any of his books.
1000%. Yes.
So Murder Falcon, Do a Power Bomb.
So good.
He also did Wonder Woman Dead Earth.
Oh,
which,
that was amazing.
I haven't read that yet.
Oh, I loved it.
So during,
Absolutely.
I believe at this time,
Yeah.
DC was literally doing a series called Death Metal. And then
Oh, yeah.
Death, it was Dark Knight's Metal was the first one, and then Dark Knight's Death Metal was the second one. And then this little 3-issue book drops from Daniel Warren Johnson, and it is 1000% more metal than anything that was happening in those other 2 series.
All right, I need
It
to
was
read.
awesome.
I need it.
It was really.
and
I think that was
then-
the first of his that I read.
Yeah?
I think so. That was really good. I think we talked about it on the show.
I bet we
You
did.
should check the archives. We don't know what date, so just watch them all.
Yeah, just
for the
start
last
from the beginning.
10 years or
Yeah.
so.
And then what else was the
A
other
Beta
one?
Ray
Hey,
Bill.
Oh, I didn't read Beta
I
Ray
read
Bill.
most of it, and I loved it. I
keep
just
forgetting.
didn't finish it. It was cool.
Remind me to read that one. And then
I'll text you later.
also Transformers. He's in the middle
Oh,
of
I
Transformers right
In
now.
the middle of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's right. Yeah, smack dab
every
inside
panel
the
is
Transformers.
there.
Can
That was their
you-
original deal. In Japan, the original, like the thing that the Autobots are based on,
Yeah.
were mechs that people would get inside.
No kidding.
And
Oh.
the Decepticons, also good guys in their original story,
No shit.
were like handheld items, which is why, and they just combined these two. And Marvel Comics gave most of the names, I think, including Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
I forget the name of the writer that did that, but that's why like Megatron turns into a gun
I was wondering.
because it's completely absurd.
Yeah, how he's
unlike
the, giant
rest of
robot and he just
Transformers.
becomes this tiny little gun.
Yeah, tiny little gun.
Yeah.
Hey, little baby gun.
Yeah.
Just a little baby
Little
boy.
baby gun. Can you order me that Wonder Woman comic at your comic book shop
I
at
have it
4227
there
Main Street?
now for you
I
to
think
get.
it's
Nice.
23.
Let's go.
All right, let's go right now. All right, guys. This has been great. I'm
Bye.
going to leave.
And then so his very first thing was called Space Mullet,
Oh my God. I love
which
that.
they're about to finally reprint. So I'm going to be ordering that into the
Nice.
shop too.
Does that also make you cry?
I haven't read it yet.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I got to get Beta Ray Bill. Thank you for reminding me
Yeah.
about that. Anyway, so sorry.
So good.
I forgot
Read
you
it.
guys were here.
Yeah, sorry, but-
Daniel Warren Johnson, check him out. He's amazing.
He's
Hey,
amazing.
Brian,
Hey.
what you been up to this week? Huh.
I was watching the new season of Doctor Who. Starring,
He's totally burying the lead. He got married.
I also got. That was actually not this week.
Damn it.
No,
But it
whoa.
was since the previous time I've been on this show.
Yeah, he got married.
My lovely wife, Tamara Galoyan, and I got married in just like a magical, amazing, perfect ceremony. It
was great.
It was wonderful. Yes, JD was kind enough to attend.
I'm why it was perfect.
Yeah, we did say that.
Yeah. It's one of their vows, which I thought was very sweet. Yeah.
Because we didn't know when we wrote them that would happen, but we had faith in you. So, yeah. So, yes, I have this wedding ring. And we went, we had an amazing reception. Tamara performed a traditional bridal dance for me that she learned a very long time ago.
We
when she
all
was a
watched
kid.
too.
Yeah, but it was for me,
was
but
for
they
you.
watched also.
Yeah.
And which I was fine with. That was fine. And it was great. And then, tons of dancing and family and love, and it was amazing. And then we went on our honeymoon to Bali, which was also amazing. We
Hanging out with monkeys.
we hung out with monkeys. We rode an elephant.
Oh.
We went into the Indian Ocean. Well, I went all the way under. Tamara does not. She doesn't do that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
But
Swim?
go all the way under the water usually.
Oh, yeah.
And so usually, not never, but so with waves, it's a little harder
Yeah.
to like pool. You can just do that, or
Yeah.
in like calmer waters, right? So and the water, they warned me. They were like, surfers go there, and I was like, okay, just like it's that big of waves. So we. I went in and it was actually very similar to Ocean City, where I grew up going, and a little taller but less rough, slightly
Yeah.
less rough. So we were there, which was on the beach, and then in Seminyak, and then went up into the mountains in Ubud. And we visited a lovely temple and the monkey forest, among many other things, which it's also the arts and cultural center of Bali. So they are very well known for their wood carvings and that kind of thing. And everyone there, literally almost everyone we met in the resorts or out, said like, "Good morning, how are you?" It's very, very nice people. Like everybody that we met. Our guide, Nyoman, he was awesome. You should look him up if you go to Bali and have him be a guide. He came our last day. We had to get up at like 3:30 in the morning to go home. And he came in like his regular clothes, just as opposed to like his kind of tour guide
Not
outfit.
one of those old-timey like long hats that you sleep in with like a...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the Scrooge. I'm thinking Scrooge.
Yeah, Scrooge, right. We didn't see him in that at all.
Okay, yeah.
But when he was doing the tour guide stuff, he did have a different outfit. So he just, showed up and just to ride with us to the airport.
That's nice.
It was great.
Did you tip him?
We did, actually,
Okay.
yes.
That's why I did it.
We had already done it before that.
Oh, nice.
They had this principle called Trihata Karana, which one of our taxi drivers was telling us about. Harmony with God, harmony with nature, and harmony with other people. And I looked it up later on Wikipedia, and it said this is credited with the like relatively stable development of Bali over the years, because not everyone, but a lot of the population are very kind and attempting harmony and succeeding a lot.
that's
I would
lovely.
say,
Yeah.
it was really nice. I recommend it to everyone. It's a very long trip, but very, very worth it.
And then Doctor Who.
Yeah. So
More importantly,
we
no.
came home, and this was So I hadn't watched Doctor Who for like weeks, right? And didn't even watch it right away when we got home.
Yeah.
But eventually I did, and it was awesome.
So this is the current series with Nshudi Gatwa.
Nshudi Gatwa. His name
Nshudi.
starts with an N, but it is pronounced
I
Nshudi
looked up
Gatwa.
how to pronounce it, and it says Nshudi Gatwa.
I have only ever heard people saying Nshudi, when in addition to like
How does he say it?
friend of mine and friend of the show, Ron Palencio, who's also one of my groomsmen. He pronounces it Shudi, and he listens to a lot of Doctor Who stuff,
Okay. I
so it's reasonable to it.
That's fine.
Yeah. But if anyone has other information, for instance, the guy playing the lead of Doctor Who, if you were watching and you want to tell us how to
Yeah.
pronounce your name, that would be awesome.
Yeah, just right
He just pops in the
Yeah.
chat right now.
Amazing.
Actually,
I would love that. So we had seen.
He pronounced it wrong most of his life.
who?
I assume he means Nshudi.
Nshudi, yeah.
And then who later realized, because of our friend Rob,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
he
he's
had been
like, oh.
I was like, hey,
pronouncing it
listen,
wrong.
I don't know if you know this.
So we had seen and reviewed his first appearance on the show,
Yeah.
right? And you loved
Awesome.
it, as I
Great,
recall.
yeah.
And Alice, you've never seen Doctor Who, right?
I've seen some of Doctor Who. I
Okay.
haven't seen the newer stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was great, and I forget if you saw. the Christmas special. I don't think you did. That.
I started
Okay.
it, but I haven't finished it.
So Vicious Marshmallow says that it's actually pronounced Steve.
Weird but true.
Crazy.
So that's good to know.
His mother told him when he was 23 he was pronouncing it wrong.
Yeah, like I didn't want to embarrass you before this. So the Christmas special was awesome, and his introduction was awesome. But they're always a little different than the regular season because they have to introduce the new Doctor and sometimes the companion, which in this case they also did. And we had met that Doctor a little bit before in an unusual, like he was around for like the last 20 minutes of the previous episode, but still very much David Tennant's story. So it's always cool to see what they're up to in their regular series.
Season.
Because then it gets into their just like this is the deal, this is what they'll be, and his deal is great.
Yeah?
Yes.
Oh, good.
He is amazing at it. He really embodies the Doctor in a way that is very it's very unique, but also so that's the kind of tightrope that they often walk is like he's the same character, but it's written into the continuity of the show that he will behave a little differently with every regeneration, but still mostly the same. And he does a great job.
one's a
He's
dancer.
fun. Yeah, he dances.
He's just like
That's fun.
in one of the first scenes of the
yeah, he's in a club.
he's in a club just dancing, and I was
Love
like,
it.
I've never seen a Doctor dance. Yeah.
Although there is an episode titled "The Doctor Dances."
Oh, funny.
Previous.
Nice.
So Rob Patey, he seems to know what he's talking about. He says he watched Ncuti do an interview about it, and that seems like even better information than the Steve one. So I think we should go with that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
I thought Rob was joking.
I
Is he committing to the bit?
don't think so.
Okay.
I think he's
That's
saying
real?
it's Ncuti.
Oh, and he pronounced his own name wrong? I just thought it was a bit.
No. That part I think was a bit.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I think if I'm
No
really
way!
No, it's not a bit.
No, it's not a bit. Oh. Also, Carl's.
Thank you, Carl.
Hey, buddy.
Yes.
From Tasmania. We have a viewer in Tasmania.
Oh,
A
that's
friend
awesome.
of the show,
Hi.
Yeah.
whom I've been meaning to write back to, but was very busy with everything. So, Carl's, I want to talk about Star Trek with you and what have you.
Oh, speaking of, I've actually been watching Picard
Discovered.
season 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
You like it?
delightful.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
It makes me want to go back and watch Next Generation and find out all
Few
about the Borg
episodes.
Queen and
The Borg Queen is not
Q.
in the Next Generation. She does not show up until the movie, and then more in Voyager.
Oh.
In the Next Generation show, it's just a hive that is this collective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So maybe I'll just watch the movie then.
Yeah,
That'd
but
be
you
a
should
little
watch the show
easier.
anyway because there's
Yeah.
cool stuff.
Yeah, okay.
And Q is a lot of it. So anyway, yeah.
Oh, his mother literally let him pronounce it incorrectly.
Wait, that part wasn't.
It wasn't
No,
a
it
bit.
wasn't a bit.
None of this?
None of this was a bit.
So it is
Rob
Ncuti.
is telling the unless you're doubling down on the bit.
Right.
tripling at
Committing
this
to
point.
committing
And I'm
to
gonna
the
go
bit.
tell people at parties that he was pronouncing his whole name wrong, and then everybody's gonna make
His
fun of
whole
me. His
name,
whole
yeah.
name, all of
the
it.
first part.
Anyway, continue.
So
it's still good.
It's still really good. There's been some really solid Doctor Who stuff happening with like cool allegory and twists. The Doctor behaving well, like as a icon of model of behavior, which is something that I really like in shows. And also the companion does that.
She seems delightful.
She is.
Yeah.
She's great.
She's,
and Ruby Sunday is her character's name. I don't remember her. Millie Gibson.
She's been adopted. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And there's a bit of a mystery about that.
Ooh.
That's right.
Oh, that's right, because she's left at a church.
Yeah. And there's other stuff going. She's a companion where there's something going on with her.
Cool.
And we'll hopefully find out that story
Nice.
at some point. Jinx Monsoon, the trans, I believe, drag queen performer who was recently, I think, Audrey or Audrey 2 in Little Shop.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
and was
cool.
a character in Chicago and possibly Mama, whatever. She's got a great song that I think Jinx Monsoon would probably do really well. She played a villain in the second episode of the new series.
Oh.
It is great. She plays a villain called the Maestro.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Related
cool.
to, like, thematically related to the Toy Maker, played by Neil Patrick Harris.
I love him.
He was great. And Jinx, who spells her name Jinkx, which I did not know, because they don't say that when they just say the name.
She was also pronouncing it wrong her whole life.
her whole life. That was her given name. It is a cool name. And she plays like a music-oriented character in an episode where they meet the Beatles for a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
and
that's
it's
cool.
pretty
Stuff
cool.
about that.
Yeah.
I gotta watch
It's
this.
so good.
Why?
I keep wanting to, and then I forget about it, and something else is on.
You're quite literally the second person on this podcast to tell me to watch this.
You should watch it.
So
We should have a Doctor Who night.
we
Oh, that
should.
would be cool.
Since we can, since we keep up with our horror movies
We do.
so well.
Also, nothing's on, JD. You said something else is on, as though it's just streaming into
Something
your
else.
home.
I put something else.
Something
on.
else. You put
Yeah,
some.
yeah.
So that's what I wanted to get to the bottom of. Here.
It is your
You
fault.
put it on.
I put it on.
It's the Spider-Man meme pointing at yourself like, what's
Yeah.
what's doing this to me?
I can't believe I've done this to myself. Also, I don't think my wife is interested in watching Doctor Who.
okay. I would
I think it
think
may
she
be a
would be.
little silly for her. I'm putting words in her mouth.
I mean, she likes Next Gen.
She
right?
does, yeah.
I think she would. In fact, the first episode, they make 2 Star Trek references. They have talked about doing a crossover like years ago, and it never happened. But they did do a comic crossover, so
Okay.
I feel like that would be a fun crossover.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will talk to my wife and see. If
Talk to her about it, please.
Yeah. Brian's making
Yeah.
me.
Brian really thinks he would like this show. Maybe.
Rob Patey says 73 Yards is the best episode so far. Timey-wimey
Oh, that's
stuff.
interesting. I really like Space Babies,
Oh,
which was very
Space
cool.
Babies.
It is about babies, and they live in space.
I would hope so.
You would hope so.
It sounds like a delicious candy. What am I thinking of? Sugar daddies?
Sugar daddies?
Sugar babies.
Sugar babies.
Yeah, yeah.
Sugar daddy.
Sugar
There's
daddies.
there's sugar daddies as a candy.
You just lick them all
Oh,
over.
I was like,
and
sugar
then-
daddies is something
Yeah,
entirely
yeah, yeah.
different.
Yeah.
I would love a sugar
I
daddy.
think there actually really
I am
was.
wouldn't.
No, I think there really was one, and the sugar babies are like
Well, yeah, no,
a
the sugar
diminutive
daddy.
version
Yeah,
of
I
them.
think you're
Yeah.
right.
Sugar daddy is a long, thin piece of caramel on a stick, and
Yeah.
then the sugar babies
It's
are
the
like
little
little
guy. Little guy.
The sugar daddy one is shaped like a penis, right?
huge it throbs.
cool.
I don't know how they do it.
Yeah. It is a marvel of
Yeah.
candying.
Yeah. It's definitely a from Willy Wonka.
Oh,
I was
for
just
sure.
gonna
Willy
say
Wonka
Willy
confectionery.
Wonka.
The
Specifically,
schnozberries.
Yeah,
specifically
it's
Johnny
like
Depp.
strawberries.
Johnny Depp's Willy Wonka.
Okay.
Specifically.
So anyway,
Hey, what
I
have
would
you
like
been
to
up
watch Doctor Who, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I really think you'd enjoy it.
What have I been up to this week? I have to look at my notes because I forgot. Oh,
You were up to something that I was considering having been up to.
Yeah, speaking of catching up with a show, I absolutely loved My Adventures with Superman season 1.
Yeah.
And I watched the whole thing, and it was a delight. And then season 2 dropped, and I was very excited to start that. And so I've watched the first 3 or 4 episodes of whatever's dropped. Whatever, I'm caught up is the point. And it is some of my favorite Superman
It's
stuff.
really good.
I actually printed I was meant to wear it today, but I wore it the other day, and I was like, I didn't wash it in time, but I actually made myself a shirt based on
sweet.
that S
Oh,
shield.
that's awesome.
Oh, that's really fun.
Yeah. So,
I have a Superman thing
Where?
on my jacket.
oh yeah,
Oh, nice.
the animated series.
Oh, Superman and Batman.
This was my mom's.
That's cool.
But did you get it at the Warner Brothers store? I bet that looks like a Warner
Probably.
Brothers store.
She's had it like since I was a child, and like she's
Oh,
recently
yeah.
been cleaning out her closet and just been giving me
Oh, and you
stuff.
got this.
like the Eminem song.
Cool.
Yeah.
She gave you the Eminem song?
What? Wait.
Cleaning out my closet is an Eminem song. The Slim Shady.
I don't know why we were talking about sugar daddy, so I went to Eminem the candy,
That's
and I'm
what
like, I was
thinking,
like,
too.
what?
Like the commercial where John Lovitz does one and
Yeah,
another guy.
yeah,
and
I was
I thought
like-
they had a song. And you were given it.
No.
For some reason, Randy, friend of the show, our son, the voice of reason, is messaging our group chat saying, "Please tell me you guys are up on his Transformers." I guess he's talking about Daniel Warren Johnson.
Daniel Warren Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I am. It's
not.
amazing.
I'm not.
But
It's
I bet
so
it's, I
good.
bet it's awesome.
It's so
Yeah.
good.
I
But I
have
bet
not.
Randy's up on My Adventures with Superman season
I'm
2.
actually wearing a Daniel Warren Johnson T-shirt. I did dress
You
for the show.
themed
did.
it. Yeah, I like to
And this
theme
is
my own.
Optimus
Somebody else's
Prime,
thing.
and he's wearing Megatron's arm.
Oh.
He like ripped. Yeah,
Oh.
it's pretty gnarly.
Solid.
Can he control it, or he just wears it as like a
Yeah, it just
a power
dangles.
move? Yeah.
No, he uses it.
That's cool.
My
Superman.
Adventures
Adventures
with
with
Superman
Superman.
is so fun.
Really
it's
good.
it's really anime inspired. There's a bit of whimsy to it. Like every so often,
Whimsy.
they'll break the not break the fourth wall.
They kind
but
of do
they'll-
like little cutaways.
cutaways. Yes, they'll do little cutaways, like little bits.
Yeah.
They'll do bits.
Yeah.
I love bits.
And I love bits.
They do 'em.
And yeah, man, it is just really, really fun. I love it. And it's
It's very
speaking of
earnest.
the boys.
Also,
We were talking about the boys.
a while ago. Jack Quaid.
Jack Quaid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's great.
Oh, I love Jack Quaid.
He's
He
good.
plays
Now he's
Superman.
He's on a Star Trek animated
He's
show.
in Scream.
He's in
Scream.
Evidently.
Yeah.
I always find it funny that he's in Scream because they reference his mom.
Oh, really?
Early Scream. Oh my God, now I can't remember her name. But
Goldie Hawn?
No.
no,
No,
that's
Meg
somebody
Ryan.
else's mom.
I always
Meg Ryan.
I picture you as a young Meg Ryan myself.
Oh,
and then
nice.
later
That's
on,
Nice.
I always found
Nice
it funny
catch.
that he ends up being in the series
That's
later.
really funny.
She's
It's
kind of a
meta. I am
Scream queen.
obsessed with
Okay, right.
Scream.
Scream queen.
I am specifically
Anyway,
just for Scream.
it's on Max, the one to watch for HBO. I highly recommend it. Actually, the comic book tie-in just dropped this week as well, and we reviewed it on Fresh Floppies, which dropped earlier today on your feed on YouTube. And it's also great. It takes place in between seasons 1 and 2. It's drawn sort of in the style of the show, but the artist is keeping his own style.
All right.
But it's definitely from the same designs and everything. And it's really fun.
You know, it's it's like a halcyon depiction of Superman.
Yeah.
It just struck me right now is, you remember Superman for All Seasons?
Yeah.
I could see a similarity between the two. You know, they're both like early and very pure days
Yes.
of Superman.
Yes.
And it's really cool.
And I was thinking about it the other day, and I realized I don't think that there is a Superman movie that I can recommend without a slight caveat. You know how there's movies that you like, but you still kind of go,
Well,
it's got that part. You know, like Superman 1, he turns back time.
yeah. Well, he goes back in time.
That's
I
what I'm
always
saying.
pictured it.
Well, he turns back time.
yeah. He does.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's true.
which he's never been able to do.
He travels back in the past all the time in the Silver Age.
Not of his. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that movie did come out pre-Crisis.
Oh, touche.
Yeah. Thank you.
And then in Superman 2, the Kryptonians for some reason have like
Little
laser fingers, telekinesis
Well, he
fingers.
also has that in Superman 1, which is kind of weird.
Wait, what?
He like puts back up the Great Wall of China or something.
Oh, I just figured he built.
Wait,
that.
why do I
He
remember
built that.
I thought he
He
did
like
it with some
rebuilt
beams.
it. Did he beam it?
I think so.
Rob Patey in Superman 78, when he fixed the Great Wall of China, did he beam it
Did he
or
beam
did he
that?
just do it super speed?
Yeah.
And then he throws his
S-shield.
S shield.
Which is like a technology that is not
That was 3.
unbelievable for Kryptonians to have, but why does he have that?
Yeah. So every one of the movies, despite me loving the original
The super
Richard
kiss,
Donner's,
which removes Lois's
removes her
memory.
memory.
It's also very strange. Now, a lot of times people say they're like, why would turning the Earth backward
He beamed it.
make time go back in
Yeah.
time? Right? And I'm like, I never took it as he's turning the Earth backward.
Yeah.
That's just
even
a
though they
visualization.
literally show us that. Yeah.
No, but that's just a visualization, like
Yeah.
a clock going backwards. That's how I always took it.
Gotcha.
So Rob Petty says he beamed it.
It was bullshit.
It was.
That's-
it was
that's
weird.
Rob Patey.
Like he can do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
you
So
know?
yeah. So my point is, like, all of
Anyway,
the movies have
yeah.
a little bit of a,
Yeah.
eh. But this doesn't.
Nothing.
This is wonderful. I really like this Superman.
Excellent.
So highly recommend it if you get a chance. Check it out. Let's move on to the main review
What
portion
have we
of our
been up
show.
to this week? Huh.
What?
About
Oh,
yeah.
well, I'll tell you
Yeah.
what we've all been up to this week. We've been watching The Acolyte. It's been today again. I just watched it last night and today.
I was
Yeah,
late
well, it
last
just
well, that's
came
when
out.
it came out.
Yeah.
last night.
I went to turn it on at 6 p.m. and I was
did
like
the
Pacific
same
time.
thing.
Yeah.
Because when I sat down with our dinner, we were all
Yeah.
excited, and then it was like 7:30. We're like, damn it, it's not on until
Why-
9.
Where is it? Why is it just a trailer?
That happened to me with Daredevil season 1, episode 1. I was so stoked for that.
Yeah.
I would've
and
been pissed.
I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay up till midnight.
Yeah.
Like,
It was
hey,
3
I
a.m.
got Sushan to hang out. Like, oh, let's stay up till midnight. And so
You're clicking around.
and nothing came up.
Nothing.
And then I did some research and I was like, oh my God, it's not till 3 a.m.
Yeah.
But to my wife's credit, she goes, why don't we just go to sleep,
yeah.
set the alarm,
Wake up.
at 3 a.m. and then watch the first episode of Daredevil. So that's what we did.
It's solid.
Yeah.
And you liked it.
And I loved it.
It's a good show.
But anywho,
Love Daredevil.
The Acolytes, episodes 1 and 2 from Disney Plus. New episodes drop on Tuesdays, just so you know, because I can never keep track of that shit. Created by Leslie Headland, starring Amanda Stenberg, Daphne Keane, Jodie Turner-Smith, Lee Jung-jae. I know I'm messing that up. I'm sorry.
Jung-jae.
Jung-jae?
Maybe.
Young-jae? Charlie Burnett and Carrie-Ann Moss. A former Padawan reunites with her Jedi Master to investigate a series of crimes, but discovers the forces they confront are more sinister than they ever anticipated. So it's real quick. Let's go round table.
Okay.
We have
It
a
is
round table.
Let's
It's
go
appropriate.
for once.
How do you feel about the Star Wars television projects thus far?
I
Have you watched them?
have watched them.
Okay, cool.
I've watched most of them. Some of the like Visionaries, I don't think I saw. Some of the non-canon
Visions,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. But all of this stuff in
live
the main
actions.
continuity, all the live actions I think I've watched. And I don't think there's been a single one that I didn't like.
Yeah.
Some I like more than others. Mandalorian. I feel like there was another one that I enjoyed
you feel about
this.
Obi-Wan?
Book of
I liked
Boba
Obi-Wan.
I liked Obi-Wan.
Yeah, I liked Obi-Wan a lot.
Yeah.
Boba Fett.
Book of Boba Fett?
That was one too. And yeah.
That was certainly a
Some
show.
of that was really good.
Yeah, some of it was
The parts
Yeah.
that were
Yeah.
With the
Mandalorian based.
Mandalorian. Those were the best.
Yep.
And there was even in that one, there was other cool stuff.
Ahsoka.
I liked Ahsoka.
I haven't watched Ahsoka yet.
It was good.
Oh.
But I haven't watched any of the.
You got to watch Rebels.
I haven't watched
It's
Rebels
so good.
yet.
It's my favorite Star Wars.
No, I need to.
Rebels is the shit.
Yeah.
And I was looking forward to this, even though I'm often like a story about a villain is I feel like not usually that great, especially for the long haul.
Yeah.
Just because the way that narrative structure often works, you're like, but I don't want to see this person win. And I don't want to see the protagonist of the story not win.
Yeah.
So that presents a problem. And I'm not as interested in them usually.
Yeah.
Not always, but I was still intrigued by this, even though I'm like, they're setting something in the past and they're going to do Sith stuff.
Yeah.
But I liked it.
Well, so a lot of the hubbubbery online was, oh, they're breaking canon because there's a red lightsaber, but we all know that there haven't been any Sith for thousands of years and blah, 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 blah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
They tell us in the prequels, like, oh, Sith are extinct and they haven't seen a
They were
Sith
just,
for
like,
1,000
in
years or
hiding.
something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just because
Right.
They're-
you
like literally
haven't seen it.
while
Very
that dude
sneaky.
is saying that,
Yeah.
there's literally a Sith Lord doing all
Yeah.
the shit.
I know.
So-
It's just like running into stores.
yeah, like a little gremlin.
Yeah.
Rob Patey is saying Mando, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, Boba Fett, Andor.
Oh, Andor.
I
That's
also
the one I wasn't thinking
haven't
of.
watched Andor.
It's really good.
But I've heard from a lot of people that it's like their favorite of the live
Yeah,
actions.
it is a
is
slow beginning,
Okay.
but boy does it amp up.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
It does.
Yeah.
And I have not seen Rogue One. And now I'm like,
You
Rogue One's
haven't?
great.
haven't seen it.
It's great.
Oh my god.
And now I'm kind of like, you know what? Maybe I'll just watch the second season of Andor, which I think is it, and then watch Rogue One. Because I think it leads into that.
I am
Or you don't think so? You don't think I should
I'm
do
trying to
that?
remember how the season 2 ends.
No, it hasn't happened yet.
It hasn't
Oh,
happened.
Yeah, you will not be able to remember it
That's why
as
I
of
can't
now.
remember it.
Yeah.
Intrigued to
I meant
see how
season
that
1.
would work. Like, hey,
Yeah.
like watching Andor before seeing
Yeah.
Rogue One.
Yeah.
I'm interested.
All right. I'll keep you up
I
to
vote
date.
for you doing that.
Okay, cool.
For my own personal
I was
interest, I,
probably
want to
already going to
know.
do it, but sure.
You're correct.
Yeah.
JD? Will you weigh in on this?
Go for it.
You think it? So that's 3 for yes?
Yes.
Dylan?
Yeah, go for it. Do
All
it.
right. It's unanimous
Doing
within
it.
this room right now.
Doing it.
I was hoping he would be like, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Who's
They're
this?
like, I don't care what you do.
Hey,
I
Big
actually
Apocalypse.
have no idea what we're talking about.
Also in the chat,
glad you're in.
Mandalorian pulled off a miracle. It made me give a shit about Star.
Yeah.
Star what?
About Star.
Trek?
She previously did not care about any stars.
None of the stars.
Stars are bullshit.
Yeah. But actually, Pink Apocalypse, obviously you meant Star Wars. Did you like Star Trek before that time?
Were you a Trekkie?
Yes.
So, same question to you.
Yeah. Would you,
No.
What shows have I?
Yeah.
Like,
Are you're all caught up on the shows?
oh, right.
Not
Do you
all the
enjoy
shows.
them?
I do very much enjoy the shows.
You haven't seen Ahsoka?
I haven't seen Ahsoka
Or Andor.
but I enjoyed Obi-Wan than most people I've spoken to. A lot of people
Yeah.
either felt neutral or didn't like
liked
it.
it a lot.
I really enjoyed it. I sometimes rewatch some of the fight scenes just like when I'm having a slow day. I'm just
see
like
that.
pull up like an 8-minute video.
Plus,
of just,
Vader
like,
is actually like what Vader is said to be.
that
in
fight
the-
scene
Yeah.
with him and Obi-Wan gives
I-
me chills.
I love that
every
fight scene.
fucking time.
Yeah.
Every time
Holding
when
a
he says,
spaceship.
"Oh my
The whole
god."
spaceship.
Oh my god, it's so good.
And I really
with
liked-
his cracked mask. Oh my god, it's
What was her
so
name?
good.
Reva?
Riva. I loved her story.
cool.
I
She's
loved
very
her
cool.
whole story.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, I loved that too.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the main complaints I heard about that show was the Leia plot line. A lot of
was-
people had issues with,
they
which
could've-
I
it
can
didn't make sense
see.
in continuity, which
Yeah.
Star Wars has a long tradition of.
Yeah.
Yes, it's true.
And
True.
she was cool.
Yeah.
The character
Yeah.
was cool.
Yeah. Overall, Mandalorian's my favorite of the shows.
Yeah, same.
Again, I've watched the end of season 2 multiple times. And
Is
still
that
get
when
chills
he's like
every time.
riding a
With Luke,
Yeah.
Rancor?
where Luke shows up
okay.
in the way that one would want to see Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was so cool. So yeah, I've seen Mando, Boba Fett. Same feelings about Boba Fett.
Yeah.
It was
that, one,
a show.
happened.
that one episode was awesome.
Yeah. And Obi-Wan. What other live action shows are there? I haven't seen.
It seems
I
like
haven't-
it.
Mando, Obi, Ahsoka,
watched-
Boba, Andor.
I think I've watched some of Clone Wars.
Oh,
Okay.
Clone Wars is Rebels is better.
Or maybe I've watched
gotta do
Rebels.
Rebels.
Yeah, I know. I need to watch Rebels.
So I've been
You've seen it all.
chomping at the bit. Like every single time one of these drop, I'm there ready and just chomping. I get a bit and I'm just chomping away at it. And it's the same
chew
way
up
that I
bits.
felt like Superman. I'm running out of bits. Most of the live action ones, I'm like, oh, that was good. Except, oh, I really like that, but there was also
That's just
this.
you as a viewer.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. I just don't like anything all the way through.
Yeah.
So except for Mando season 1
right.
was baller all the way through.
Love Mando.
I would I was like, I even like the theme music. Like I would
It's
sit there
so
and vibe to
fun.
the theme music. I loved it.
Costa has a giant Mandalorian tattoo. Costa
does.
is a hardcore fan.
He had me draw a tattoo, and then he was like, "I'm going to get a different one."
That's nice.
Ahsoka, like I think Andor starts off slow. Ahsoka, the choreography in that show for someone who is such a master swordsmith, it's very, very kind of like slow and.
Well, she's also kind of just waving. It really looks like she's doing what I'm sure they're all doing, just waving her lightsaber around, and then they direct the blaster fire in post-production
It feels like very
towards it.
sleepy, all the fighting in that. I'm like, if there's a sequence in Clone Wars where Ahsoka is much younger and she's jumping from starfighter to starfighter, and it's such a badass sequence. And then in the live action, it's just like, so I think most of them are fun. I like them to a certain degree, but each one of the ones I kind of go, well, but also this.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of, but so that's all to say that the Acolyte dropped this week, and I have personally been really enjoying the High Republic era of Star Wars. For anyone who doesn't know, this series is the first live action show to take place in what's called the High Republic era, which the beginning takes place 200 years before the Skywalker saga.
The beginning of the High Republic era.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The beginning of this show takes place 100 years before. So there's a character, Vernestra Rowe, who used to be like, she was much younger. She had long purple hair. And in this, she's much older and is bald.
She's in like the comics and stuff.
She's in the comics. She's
Okay.
in the novels.
Okay.
If you're interested in checking out the High Republic, 100% pick up the Charles Soule novel, Light of the Jedi, which starts off with one of the most gnarly sci-fi accidents I've ever read, and was surprised that we haven't seen that yet. For anyone in the chat who knows what I'm talking about, don't spoil it. Just let me know if we've seen that in any other sci-fi before, because it was a page turner, man. I thought that was awesome. And so in the High Republic, all of the Jedi are kind of in abundance. Everything's going really well. The Republic is in the heyday of its tenure. They're still mapping out the hyperspace lanes.
Oh, they hadn't gotten to that?
Yeah, they're still doing it.
Oh, okay.
And
been
you
around for a long time.
they still don't have like communication to the outer rim, so they're still trying to build communication. So things are a little bit more choppy back then.
All right. But the Jedi had been around for like thousands of years, right? Okay. So this is like more towards the end of their kind of tenure, as it turns out.
As being,
Right. Okay.
Until we see them in the sort of the prequels where they're kind of shitty and very political.
Yeah.
Well, and there's some views that they're not so hot here either. Like maybe they're a little stuffy and have lost the way a little bit too.
That's right, because I think that's where we're headed, right?
Oh,
They're bridging that gap between the High Republic and the Skywalker saga.
And are we getting an Old Republic show also?
That I
Knights of
haven't
the Old
heard.
Republic?
That I haven't heard.
I'd really like to see something about that.
I remember playing that video game for like 20 minutes and thinking it was cool, and then that was the end of it.
That was it.
So what did you guys think of the Acolyte episodes 1 and 2?
I really enjoyed them.
Yeah?
Yeah. I thought they were a lot of fun. I also love.
We will get into spoilers,
no spoilers.
in a little bit, but
Not yet.
we're going to start off with no spoilers.
Yeah. I also love Amandla Stenberg.
From
Well, I'm going to say two things. From
Oh,
shit.
Bodies,
two
Bodies,
things.
Bodies.
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 Fun.
That's 3 things.
Fun horror movie. Yeah, that's 3 things. I said 2.
Was that the what? Which
she
one
was,
was Bodies? Was that the Netflix?
It had no, Pete Davidson horror movie.
Right. I saw the other thing about Bodies. We reviewed it for the show.
3 body problem.
Three Bodies.
Yeah.
That's
Bodies,
actually
bodies problem.
Oh my God.
neither of those what I was thinking of. We reviewed another thing that went
The
to the
time
word
travel
bodies.
body.
I think, yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Where like the
Might have just been
same
called
corpse shows up in
Bodies.
4 different timelines. with
Yeah,
the same
something like
bullet.
that. Yeah.
I forget
There's a
what
lot
it's
of
called.
bodies stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's
So body works together.
so many bodies.
Constantly exploring each other's bodies.
That's true.
Yeah.
And celebrating them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice. So
That was
go on.
really
I'm
wholesome.
sorry.
Do you guys want me to leave?
Yeah.
You can
All
watch.
right, fine. She was also, when she was a lot younger, in the Hunger Games.
Oh,
Really?
was she
Rue.
That
She's
was
Rue in the Hunger Games.
Did she win any of the Hunger Games?
No.
Did she die?
Oh, she died.
She
Oh, that
loses.
sucks.
Yeah.
And this is different than
But she
the
haunts the
Piglet
narrative
and Rue.
forevermore. So she's
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's-
okay, cool.
she's present in
Oh,
in
very
people's
good.
minds and hearts and
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
not in a way that they would pay her, the actress, to be in the movies.
no.
Oh, that's a shame.
I think there's like a picture of her pops up in the second one, so I don't know if she got any
Thanks
money
to
for
Crispin
that.
Glover, I believe you do have to get.
Ah, do you know this
Yeah.
story?
No.
Do you know who Crispin Glover is?
No.
Okay.
Well,
so Crispin
then we're not
Glover
telling you the story.
Was from
Damn
yeah.
it.
You do know Crispin.
He was the dad in
You're a
Back to the
dead
Future.
fuck.
I thought you were going to say
that's
the
very
little
insulting.
vampire.
Friday the 13th.
He was Richard E. Grant in the Richard E. Grant story.
Have you seen all the Friday the 13th?
Yeah. Who's
Yeah.
he in?
He's the one with the dance scene.
Oh my god.
amazing.
Okay.
He's
okay.
amazing
He's in
dancing.
American Gods. I don't know if you saw.
No, I
any of that.
haven't.
But anyway, he was in Back
Yeah.
to the Future 1. He plays Marty McFly's dad.
Oh,
And
okay,
then
okay,
in the
okay,
second
yes.
one,
Much more contactable reference.
yeah, he although she got the Friday
She
the
did.
13th.
I did.
She did.
And then for Back to the Future 2, he didn't come back. So they built a prosthetic face to look like him and put it on another actor.
Oh, so
and
it's
then
like-
hung him upside
Yeah,
down.
to like kind of distract you. Like he had a back problem in the story,
Okay.
and so he's hanging upside down the whole time.
Yeah.
And I think that is the same thing that covers if there is an image of you
Yeah.
in any way.
So like they can't use your likeness without.
Without paying you. And
Got
maybe
you.
making it, because they also didn't really make it clear that it wasn't him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they'd have to do that now.
Mm-hmm.
And he's that was probably his most normal role.
Yeah,
He's
oh,
a
yeah.
very weird,
Yes.
adept actor. He's amazing in American Gods.
Haven't seen it.
He
Nice.
plays Mr. World, the leader of the pantheon of American gods.
Wow.
And he's great.
Nice.
Yeah.
What were we talking about? Oh, The Acolyte.
Oh, yeah. The main review of the
So you liked it.
I really enjoyed it. Yes.
Brian, what did you think of it?
I really liked it too.
Yeah.
Now, I did fall asleep for a little bit of episode 1.
I fell asleep
And-
for episode 2 and had to rewatch it.
Yeah.
But it
and
was past my bedtime when it came out.
by default because you were asleep.
Yeah.
So, and I went back and I rewatched most of episode 1, and then I didn't have so much time, so I was like, all right, I'll just watch the recap,
Yeah.
and then watched all of episode 2, and yeah, it was cool. It was very cool. I don't think it is as of yet above my favorite of the live action Star Wars, but I'm really enjoying it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have been really pleasantly surprised by this because,
Yeah.
like I said, a bunch of the other shows, I'm like, that's pretty good, but
Hmm.
I don't have any butts yet. I'm buttless. I just slide off seats. I had to duct tape myself to the chair.
Interesting.
So
see why
I thought this
that
was
would cause that
really,
to happen.
really fun, and I didn't know it until I saw it. But I said to Sushan, I did not realize I have been missing kung fu in Star Wars.
Yeah.
I
It
had
makes sense
The
that they
fight
would be able to
scenes were
do
fun.
that.
right.
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
they're going to have different sorts of choreography that they can employ.
I didn't even really realize that was something we hadn't seen yet. Because you know
Right.
how as things progress, like in the Phantom Menace, the fight scenes are a lot better than in New Hope, right?
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, that seems like something they would do in Star Wars.
Yeah.
And I hadn't quite realized, like, oh, we have not seen that
Mm-hmm.
until we were just talking now.
Yeah, I and the choreography, much in the way that I did not like the choreography in Ahsoka. This is the opposite of that.
You did like
I actually found myself going like,
Yeah.
that was a cool. Whoa, ooh, look at that.
Yeah.
The Jedi seem like the kind of fighters who would like kind of just move out of the way.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
They the Force, they're
Yeah.
in with that and they know what's coming.
And I like how
Yeah.
they employ using the force, like force pulling and pushing,
Yeah.
to amplify their moves. So cool.
Yeah.
I loved
It's
it.
really, really cool.
Yeah, and I really like the story that they're setting up with May
OSHA?
and OSHA.
The Occupational
OSHA.
Safety Health Administration.
The entire
Yes,
time when they're
I was
like, oh
thinking
no,
that too.
OSHA. I'm like,
Yeah.
OSHA has a
who's
problem
coming
with
to
the way
shut down
you
the
run
Jedi
things.
Order?
So yeah, man.
OSHA comes in with their hard ass and they're like, you can't have any of
Yeah,
this.
you got a lot of apothecary stuff here. Gonna have to clear it out.
None of this is up to code.
And May,
He won a suit against Zemeckis.
Crispin Glover.
Crispin Glover won
Yeah.
a suit against Robert Zemeckis for those Back to the Future 2 shenanigans.
Good for
Yeah.
him.
And he also says Knights of the Old Republic was so good game.
Nice. An eloquent way
yeah.
to put that.
I so far this may be shaping up to be one of my favorites of the live action
Nice.
shows, and I'm delighted to see the High Republic in live
That
action.
era.
Yeah, that
And
era.
also the Jedi wearing different clothes than that, like brown
yeah,
robe.
I like their
like their
outfits
golden-
and stuff.
yeah.
The gold and white.
Yeah, it's not.
I will say, that I have some trouble with some of the delivery.
Okay.
Some of the acting, I think Vernestra Rowe feels like she's just sort of reading her lines. Even Lee Jung Jae.
Yeah.
But of course, he learned English for this role.
Yeah.
Oh, is that right?
So I can't knock him.
Yeah. And yet you are.
Because he's a Korean star.
Is that right?
And
Oh, that's cool.
he basically just learned his lines.
All right.
In
That's
English.
just how the character talks.
So, but yeah,
I had no idea.
No, I didn't know that either.
I thought he was doing
I thought he
very
had
well.
like a cultured, recognizable but cultured accent.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's doing great.
here's what I miss in my War of Stars: ships and Jedi seem like an either or with all these shows. Either or with all
They
these
are
shows.
on a ship for a decent amount of time.
There was a good
And there's
ship
a
sequence.
number
Some
of
good
Jedi.
shipping.
Yeah.
There was actually a really good ship sequence in was it episode 1 or 2?
Was that when she goes out on the outside of the ship?
That's episode 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like the crashing.
That's episode 1.
Oh, that was gnarly.
There you go.
And also,
There's a
this
ship.
is the most expensive live-action Star Wars show
Oh,
so far.
Really?
I think it's 180 million for the whole season.
Although, much like highest grossing movies,
Mm.
prices continue to go up for many things.
Yeah.
So, yes, the
newest one is
tentpole
probably the
one
most
will be the
expensive.
most
Yeah.
expensive. Yeah. Often,
but
anyway.
my point being, it's all on screen. I think it looks like
yeah.
an expensive show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although they keep the sort of the cute element of clearly on a set. Like that's not a real village. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
it's
you didn't
kind
think that
of
was a real
kind of
village?
cute.
I assumed it was.
Oh, the dog fights. He's talking about the dog fights in space.
Oh, yeah, we didn't
Which
see
are
that.
like my least favorite part of Star Wars.
Yeah, Rob.
Yeah, I kind of get tired. I'm like, all right, yeah, pew pew pew. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
I need them lightsabers.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Although
what
they
were you
make them with the close-up guns too. They say pew 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 when they're firing them.
That's true.
Yeah. Also, do you remember when we reviewed The Phantom Menace? We were disappointed in their use of the Trade Federation's, the accents that they
Nemoidians.
used.
The Nemoidians.
And, is that the name of their species? And in this one, they just spoke
yeah.
without a caricature. So that was cool.
That was
I would say there was an Asian lilt
Yes.
to it,
Like
but
in-
without being
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not this,
Caricaturish,
like,
yeah.
right. Somebody who is not Asian having learned that
Yeah.
from someone else having read the lines as we learned.
I noticed that too in episode
Yeah.
1.
I was like, oh, that's good.
all right.
Hey, it's a whole species. They don't
Yeah.
look the same.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
Pink says, I'm not plugged into the fandom, but I'm vaguely aware of a rumor that they're retroactively fixing the sequels by engineering a clone emperor plot woven through future TV War of Stars.
The Mandalorian was kind of like that.
I don't think that's fixing it though, right? Pink, like, we know that he was cloned. That's not a question. So there's nothing really to fix. I think they're just explaining it. They're just like
Well, I think
delving
fixing,
into it.
depending on how you felt about that in the sequels,
Oh, I
maybe
see.
it's like, we're going to make that story better
I see.
by doing these things.
I mean,
Yeah.
great, because I think they did that with the prequels. I don't like the prequels very much.
no.
And all the prequel era TV shows and books I love. Yeah. It's just this, I think the movies themselves are.
Not
ugh.
into it.
But
I
yeah.
like Revenge of the Sith.
And yeah, she asked if this is true. It is slightly true because, well, it's definitely true. In Mando, the reason they're looking for Grogu is cloning.
Werner Herzog's character.
Yeah. I would like to see the baby.
I'd like to see the baby.
I'd like to see baby.
So yeah, and everything that Moff Gideon is doing in Mando is also
He doing
heading
clone-related
towards
stuff?
clone. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
or the people above him are anyway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And there may also be some Thrawn stuff.
now
there's-
this
yeah.
is
I mean,
pod
there is
racing.
Thrawn stuff, but
Yeah.
I mean, I think something they said
Has to do
hinted
with
that he
that as
might
well.
be involved in that. I don't know.
And also in the comic books, Pink, they've really been. I think in the Darth Vader series, we actually saw Exegol, which is that planet that Palpy lives on. You know?
Palpy?
A little Palpy.
Yeah. That's what
Little
they call him
Palpy
on
Town.
Exegol.
Yeah.
Yeah. He lets his guard down.
All right, spoiler time.
Spoiler time
For
for
these
this show.
first 2 episodes of Acolyte. I keep almost saying Alkaline Trio.
It's a weird.
It's a band.
Oh. Do you have a jacket of
I
them?
have a jacket.
See, you have a whole themed outfit
that.
today. You said you did.
Well, he really engineered that one.
yeah.
So, totally wizard. What am I thinking? Oh, so yeah, fucking. They screamed her.
They Drew Barrymore.
Who did
They
what?
Drew Barrymore, Carrie Ann
yeah.
Moss. I was so excited for Carrie Ann
she
Moss
be in
to
it?
be in this show.
Well, they were still capable of putting her in all of the marketing and in the title cards.
Yep.
They found their way to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now she could still. There could be some flashbacks involved in this show.
Yeah, I kept,
It's a
I kept
flashback
hoping.
kind of show.
Yeah.
Because we
Well,
even
you-
saw one of them as a little girl.
Actually,
Yeah.
you have that first amazing fight sequence
So
between
May,
May and
presumably.
I forget her name.
Anita.
I don't know. Indara.
Indara.
Indara. Carrie Ann Moss. And then Indara dies. And then May, I assumed, was waking up. And I thought that was a flashback. I thought we were going back in time
Oh,
where she
interesting.
wakes up. She's
Yeah.
a mech tech. And
Like-
I thought that was young, the assassin.
Right.
And we were going to find out what led her to kill Indara.
Right. Okay.
And then we find out, like, oh no, it's a completely different character, and they're twins.
So flash sideways.
Yeah.
Flash sideways. Yeah.
Which I was happy about because as I mentioned, I was like, I'm gonna watch a whole show about this Sith
Yeah.
person, and now it seems I'm not going to do that.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I was disappointed that Carrie Ann Moss died.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I really think-
Costa immediately said that. He's like, they Drew Barrymore her.
Yeah.
And at first, when she got stabbed and was dying, he's like, Trinity, no! And then-
Although
Comes
she
back in
still,
that.
she still
She
got
does.
it. She still got it. As
Yeah.
far as like the fight moves.
Yeah.
Oh, she's killing
Oh
it.
yeah.
Well, she died.
Oh, she wasn't.
Eh, she
killing
didn't kill that much.
Yeah, May was killing
it. Not a lot
Yeah.
of killing.
So yeah,
Flash
I like the
sideways
one-
is just time. Well,
Flash sideways.
that's true. Flash sideways, just
just time.
Depends on how fast you're
Timey-wimey.
moving, Rob.
I also like the second Jedi we meet that she tracks down, and she just can't get to him.
Oh, the
He's just
guy
sitting
hanging
there
out.
unbothered.
Force bubble around
Yeah, that was
him.
cool.
That was fun.
Doesn't open his eyes, but he seems to feel like they did something pretty wrong in that
Yeah,
situation.
he took that.
Maybe they parent
Poison.
trapped them
Yeah.
and they split the kids
I
up.
so
And they were like, we're not going to tell them they have a twin.
I was just gonna say I was really proud of myself because as soon as when we see Osha and we're thinking, oh, is this one person? And then they mentioned that she had a sister at one point. I like sat up on the couch and Cus was like, what? And I'm like, I bet you they're twins. And he's like, what? And I was like, well, her hair was a little longer, the other one, and this one has shorter hair.
Oh, I
so
didn't
they're
notice
parent
that.
trapping it
Nice.
like they did with Lindsay Lohan, where one of them had long hair and one of them had short hair.
Did they have
Nice.
different length hair in that movie? In
Yeah.
the Parent Trap movie? Oh.
They end up cutting one's
they-
hair.
well, they have to.
They switch.
You can't come back from camp and be like,
with
my
like
hair
12
grew.
more inches of hair.
Never seen that movie.
What?
I've never seen that movie.
Oh, it's cute.
It's a good
Yeah.
movie. I think
It's
the first.
cute.
I remember seeing the first
Dennis
one when I was
Quaid's
very
in
young,
it.
too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Jack Quaid's dad.
I've
Jack
heard of
Quaid's
him.
dad.
Yeah.
He made Jack
Ryan's
Quaid with Meg
Paramore.
Ryan.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. It takes two, JD.
Sex.
Well, you
To
see.
make a thing go right.
Yeah.
So go
Takes two
on.
to make it out of sight.
Next.
So, I did like. So May comes in and she's like whacking at the force field,
Yeah.
right? And then another Jedi is coming in, so she jumps up through the open skylight, and the other Jedi comes in and he's like, "Huh? Oh, there's no way somebody could have gotten through that open skylight.
Yeah.
I'll just leave."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But everything looks fine here.
It's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
not everyone's a Jedi. But they probably also wouldn't have some sort of futuristic grappling technology
Or like
Nah.
a ladder.
commonly around, right?
So when I saw that, her leaping out of the skylight,
Mm-hmm.
I went, why didn't she just enter that way?
Didn't she?
She goes through the whole thing. She gets a kid
Oh, that's
to go
right.
up to the Jedi temple to have the little eyeball come out so that she can throw
Right.
like a disruptor on it.
Yeah.
And then she goes in. It's like,
Well,
you
she
could've
didn't
just
know.
gone in the flash.
Well, she didn't know about the skylight.
Yeah, I guess.
Not everyone goes
Yeah.
on the tops of buildings like you, JD. Before
She was
they break
literally
in.
on the top of a building.
With the line of sight must have been.
That's
off.
true. Yeah. But anyway, it didn't bother
Or
me.
she
that
wasn't totally confident it was the right building, and it would have been
Yeah.
really awkward if she dropped into the
Ooh,
wrong
like a
one.
little
Ah,
much. Yeah.
What would her face
Also,
be
what
red?
if he's pooping?
That's true.
Like, oh, I don't want to kill him while he's pooping.
yeah, like in that Western movie that I saw one time.
Exactly like
Yeah.
that Western
What?
movie
Yeah.
that you saw that one time.
They open up the outhouse, and the kid, I think he's never killed anyone
Yeah.
before, but he does kill him while he's pooping.
Yeah.
He doesn't feel good about it afterwards.
There's a spoiler for Game of Thrones. It's been out for a while. Somebody
Been
in
out
Game
for
of
a
Thrones
while.
dies that way.
Oh, yeah. That
Yeah.
sucks, though.
Yeah, he does
There's
suck.
a lot of people in Game of Thrones. Are
That
not
sucks.
nice
Most
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
suck in Game of
Yeah.
Thrones, I would say.
Do we have anything else we want to talk about?
What else?
Oh, I also like the score.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I found myself kind of bopping along to the final score that as
Yeah.
the show wraps up.
Hey, could I, for 1 second,
Yes.
go into a previous category, what I was up to this week? Huh?
Yeah, okay,
Thank
sure.
You. The score in Doctor Who is amazing.
oh.
Jinx Monsoon's episode, Ruby plays a piano song that I was like, I want to have this song.
Yeah.
Like, this song is awesome. And it's just really well done throughout. The composer from Russell T. Davis's first run came back. Murray Gold, I think is his name. So anyway, yeah, that's really cool. But the score in Acolyte is excellent as well.
It was really good. What was I going to say? Oh, I was actually telling Costa this before. I had to stop myself from doing this because I was going down a rabbit hole of trying to guess who May's master is.
Oh yeah.
And
I don't think it's
somebody that we
exactly. So I had to stop myself from doing that because I was like, all right,
Yoda probably.
definitely Yoda. I was like, I'm gonna fall down a rabbit hole of all these like crazy conspiracy theories of who it is, like Darth Plagueis, and like and I was like, no, I just gotta enjoy the show as it is for what it is. Because like I referenced to Coast when we were talking about it, how everybody got all hyped about the X-Men and WandaVision. And then ruined the show for them when it didn't happen, even though it was a great show.
Yeah.
And everybody was like,
I mean, that kind of did suck.
Yeah.
But so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna like not look up crazy theories, but like since it's coming out like on a weekly basis instead of just like binging it all in one go.
It's
really
fun
excited.
to be able to
It's
talk
really
about.
fun weekly, week to week.
So people online, I've seen a couple of folks on Twitter talking about the Jedi in this show and how it seems like maybe they did some not cool shenanigans, right?
It seems that way.
like it.
But he thought they were doing the right thing, so I think it's something that.
Oh yeah, the guy who drank the poison.
Yeah.
Well,
who was given by Jason Mendoza of The Good Place.
Yeah,
The Good Place.
that was awesome.
It was nice to see him again.
Yeah.
Crossover.
Yeah. But they're angry because they're like, oh, were the Jedi going to be the real bad guys? And it's like, but if that's true, what's the problem? Because I would, we've had like Count Dooku, who was a Jedi, who then became. Was he actually Sith, or was he
used
just
a red
sort of
lightsaber?
like, yeah.
You can't use one of those. They don't let you have those.
So,
it'd be too confusing in the fight.
And then if you take it, you're still kind of a Sith.
It's like a police force, though, right? So, at times, and you've got good.
Especially in this
show.
Sure. It's like seems very police.
And I think they may be at a point where they have gotten or are beginning to get, I don't know, self-indulgent isn't the right word, but like complacent and maybe complacent in watching themselves that they're still doing the right thing. They're like, well, we're in contact with the Force. Any decision we make is right. That kind of thing. And maybe
with us.
a little overbearing. Right.
Yeah.
So who knows? That might be. But if they do that, we've still got thousands of years before this that they were presumably just the good guys.
Yeah.
And there is that hinted at in the prequels where, Qui-Gon Jinn isn't with them because he's like, hey, you guys are not really doing the right thing. And Yoda says something like, perhaps the prophecy misread we have.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so why there would need to be a balance between good and evil is kind of ridiculous. Like, why do we need evil? It's a constant plot thing for them to explain, like, why there is evil. And it's like, why should there be a balance between those two things?
But I just, it wouldn't bother me if we found out that there were a couple of Jedi who like fucked up.
Yeah.
Like
Sith got to come from somewhere.
Yeah. Fucked up these kids' lives by accident, maybe even.
Yeah.
But like, just made a bad decision.
Yeah.
People seem to be upset that could be the case. And it's like, why? Yeah.
And also, I'm not sure that all of them. Well, Osha's former master.
Yeah.
He does say
Soul.
Yeah. He says he's made his peace with what happened, but I took it at the time as like we weren't able to save that.
Yeah.
So, and I think that might be the case with him because he doesn't seem racked with guilt, other than like regret for not being good enough.
The one scene that I thought illustrated the main problem I have with the Jedi is when he's talking to Osha about that. And he's like, I found my peace with it. You need to find your peace with it too. And she's like, my entire family was murdered.
Yeah.
And you're telling me to find peace with it? And I was just like, that's kind of like the Jedi in a nutshell. They're just like, just move on. Like, get over it.
Yeah. I've always had that problem. They're like, attachments will lead you to the dark side. And it's like, why?
We talked about that with the Phantom Menace. They took this 8-year-old away from his mother, and they're like, you still have attachments.
Yeah,
it's like, you took
I
him
saw
from
her
his
this
mom.
morning, you dickheads.
And you easily could have saved her. Chose not to.
You mean my slave mother that we left behind on a desert planet?
She's not fine.
Yeah.
Not
He
okay.
might take
your thoughts
me missing out on her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so anytime, I think most of the prequels were about the faults of the Jedi, right? And how they just made bad decisions, and they were so far up their own asses that they didn't even know that the Sith were rising.
They kind of like failed Anakin in a way because he kept getting more pushed away by them.
Not in a way, absolutely.
They failed him, and then
they didn't grant him the rank of master.
They didn't grant him the rank of master, and that's what happened.
It reminds me a lot of a book series that I think Pink Apocalypse is a big fan of as well, Dragonlance. In the present of the first 3 Dragonlance novels, the gods have withdrawn from the world for like a long time, and the dragons are also gone. And a big part of that, there was this cataclysm like hundreds of years ago, and a big part of that was that the priests who were originally good had become very restrictive and stuffy, and a lot of the bad aspects of organized religion, and so there was this cataclysm, and the gods withdrew completely from the world. And that kind of reminds me of maybe how the Jedi are being in this time, or they're getting there. And they're never all like that. Like Yoda was always cool. Mace Windu, I think, was pretty cool. I don't know about the other ones. We don't get a lot of time with them, but yeah.
I feel like there's been several times that even Yoda, like in the books and stuff, where I'm like, oh, dude. Yeah. Not a good choice, bud.
Really?
Yeah.
I've read so many of the books. Well, I mean, I've not read any of them.
No. Okay. So anyway, anything else? I think we all agree that the Acolyte is off to a good start.
It was off to a good start, and there was some cool cinematography, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's what.
I'm just really enjoying the fight sequences.
Very cool.
Those are really good too. It's nice to have a little bit more emphasis on the choreography.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Let us know what you think of The Acolyte, episodes 1 and 2. Email us at cultpopgo@gmail.com or tweet at us at cultpopgo. Also, follow us on TikTok because we put little shorts up.
Yeah.
We put our little shorts up.
Dylan puts our shorts up.
Yeah.
If you know what I'm talking about.
Remember that show, Salute Your Shorts?
Yeah. I do. I never watched it, but I'm aware of it.
I watched it. It was all right.
Rob Patey says one must be a sociopath to use the Force.
To use the light side of the Force.
Well, thanks so much for joining us, and we will talk at you later.
Bye.
Doo-doo.